Next item on the agenda is the consider request for TIF exclusions. Those of you that have kept up with the approval of the TIFs, both for Wallace Downs and Massengill Springs, which have been approved by both governing bodies, the City Council and the County Court. At their meetings, most recent meetings, and full discussion of a lot of issues took place at both the City Council and the County Court. Of course, the city was in a little bit different position, if you want to put it that way, because the zoning of the property became an issue at the City Council meeting in the fall of last year, and they had public hearings and etc. And people were present. People expressed their views and likes and dislikes of the project. The project was essentially amended from what they originally proposed last fall to the city zoning for roads and streets, sidewalks, and some other things that are now an integral part of the project. Again, the TIF part of it has to do strictly with the incremental tax increment financing the project, and I think that the City Council didn't disapprove. The City Council approved it, but a couple of three members of the council voted against it, and also voted against the rezoning of the project last fall, type of thing. When it got to county court, it might be interesting to know that of the county court, 12 people voted for it, 1 voted against it, and 1 was absent. So it was practically unanimous, except for 1 person at the county court. On the Massengill Springs, it was unanimous. Both projects came before the council, before the court at the same time. They didn't come before the council at the same time, but they did come before the court at the same time. At the council meeting and at this meeting, at your last meeting, we did not have at that time request from any property owners to be excluded from the project. Now since that time, we have received letters from 3 property owners. The latest one, as late as June the 5th. One is from Comer Electric, and they're all very simple. There's not a lot of conversation. They just want to be excluded from the Massengill Springs study for the TIF. One is for Comer Electric, the other one is Henderson Motors Company, and the other one is Dr. Charles S. Fulk. Those pieces of property. Do you want to consider them all at one time, or do you wish to consider them individually? Consider them all at one time, all right? So the floor is open for a motion as to whether they are requesting to be excluded from the project,
So moved.
Mr. Stroud moved that the 3 property owners of Comer Electric, Henderson Motors Company, and Dr. Fulk, property be excluded that was included in the TIF, be excluded from the Massengill Springs project. Mr. Stroud so moved. Is there a second? Mr. Smith, second, and the floor is now open for discussion. Anyone?
These folks are within their
Just a
legal.
minute, this is Darren Fulk, call this my granddaughter, just a second. I'll call you back later, I'm in a meeting. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Leah Beth, when she calls.
You better
I
call
answer.
fast too.
Huh?
You better get this thing busy. You call fast.
I have a question, just as a process on this. These people are coming in and saying, we want to be excluded. Did they ever give permission to be included? And is there anything in the TIF or whatever that says that, quote, developers should do that?
Good question, John. Number one, there is nothing in state law at all that requires the developer to notify anybody that's going to be included in a TIF. If you want to know personally, should there be? Jack thinks there should be. Two, next question, in case you want to know. These people tell me that they, excuse me, one side of the coin tells me that they weren't notified. On the other side of the coin, I've had people tell me that they actually were notified. So you've got a controversy as to whether they were notified or they wasn't notified. State law doesn't require that they be or not be type thing. Now, probably what effect does it have? And anybody, I'll let you argue about it if you want to argue about it. But essentially, I can argue for the motion is made. I can argue against the motion is made, type thing, to be honest with you, if you don't understand TIFs. And what this does, when you exclude this project, when you exclude these properties from the project, you can't build a 4-lane highway and put in new traffic lights, sidewalks, trees, and all of the improvements and not increase the value of this property or any other property for that matter. When you make those kind of improvements, sewer, in essence, take care of the flooding and et cetera and so forth and so on, they're going to receive, these pieces of property will receive the benefits of that TIF. I don't think anybody can legitimately debate that if you know much about development. Now, what does that do? That's going to essentially increase the property values of these three pieces of property. Now, I'm not saying that their taxes will increase because that's not the industrial board's business. That's the tax assessor's business. It will be up to the tax assessor to determine whether or not the increased value of property warrants additional taxation. If he reassesses the property, which he will probably do, whether it's in the TIF or not in the TIF. It doesn't really make a darn difference. Now, if you understand that part of it, then you move to the next part of it. If they don't want to be a part of the TIF and their property values do increase and there is additional taxes, then what happens to that money? That money, if they're in the TIF, goes to pay off the loan that for the public improvements on the land that they're benefiting from. And it probably, in all probability, will shorten the amount of time that the loan is for paying off that debt to the city and the county. That the city, that the industrial board, paying off the debt that the industrial board has incurred for the public improvements. And I know Bill and James may say I'm saying the wrong words, but I got to tell you, as I understand it now,